the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Live.
You down with Rapaport? Yes, I am. 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 You better tune in, IamRapaport.com. Cause every single podcast, you know he drops bombs. I seen him on set, a seasoned vet with true talent. Catch him on his way to CrossFit, rocking the New Balance. He asked me to do the track cause he know I rhyme elite. But I'm just waiting for the Robert De Niro line of the week. Breakfast of Champions, hosted bagel, cream cheese, and lox. This is I Am Rapaport, the show never stops. You might catch him out in public, stretching his knees. But if you don't listen to the show, yo, wig up please. Wig up please. This is the
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast coming live from the IABs. This is a fantastic mashup potpourri episode. So I got to interview on this episode the big Hall of Famer, Shaquille O'Neal. He's here talking about the big podcast. Amber Rose, she's here talking about her new podcast and some other things that are bugged out. Her new podcast is called Loveline. I got Fearless Conversation with Abby Wambach. She's an American hero. Gold medal winner. Probably one of the most coveted soccer players in the world. I got the guy from TED Talks. His name is Guy Raz. Happier with Gretchen Rubin. Stuff you missed in history class with these girls, Tracy Wilson and Holly Frey. Stuff you should know with Chuck Bryant. I got my man Jim Breuer, Adam Carolla. Yo, listen, I talked to all these people. I love this episode. Totally out of context. You're gonna love it too. This is a really good episode. It's a potpourri podcast extravaganza, and we're getting into it right now. All right, I'm gonna tell you something that's real. Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every single day. Okay, they're getting ripped off by other home security systems, all right? And the home security industry wants you to believe it's your only option. They got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts, wasting your money and scaring the crap of you. You get stuck with writing a huge check month after month after month with no way out. That's a robbery. It's robbery by contract, and it could cost you thousands. But I'm telling you, I am here to tell you there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. I have one now. I feel so good. I love it. I sleep like a baby. Simply Safe Home Security. My apartment here in New York City is now protected by Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts, none. You'll get award-winning protection, okay? Named the best in the industry. You'll get security professionals watching you, ready to instantly send the police ASAP, okay? And it's just $14.99 a month. That's less than half of what most companies charge, $14.99 a month. Protect your home, protect yourself, protect your family the smart way. Visit simplysafemike.com. Simplysafemike.com. Go right now, and you'll also get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. It only takes a minute. That's simplysafemike.com. Trust me, I have Simply Safe in my home. I feel good. I feel comfortable. I love this brand, and I love the security system. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast with, I don't even have any adjectives to describe you right now, Amber.
Why?
There's too many adjectives that are racing through my head. With Amber Rose, who, since the last time I saw you, Amber, a lot of things have happened.
Yeah.
You now have your own podcast.
Yes, my own podcast, my own talk show, Slut Walk.
Yes.
I have a deal with Estee Lauder.
Shit.
And
makeup?
Dancing with the Stars, yes.
Right, okay, so we only have a few minutes.
Okay.
Dance with the Stars, are you enjoying it?
I am. It's very, very difficult. They make it look easy on TV,
Right.
but it's extremely difficult.
Would you call yourself a natural dancer?
Yes, I did, but now I am not, no.
You need to expound upon that.
Okay, so when I started, so you could be a good dancer when you're at the club.
Right.
That's not ballroom dancing.
Right.
It's completely, your body has never moved like that in its life unless you ballroom dance before.
Right, okay. So you're learning that the little ass shake here, a little wink there is not going to cut it on Dancing with the Stars.
It is not, no.
And when does your podcast start?
My podcast starts September 8th.
Oh, and are you excited about doing
Thursday. Super excited. Oh my God. So it's Loveline with Amber Rose. You remember Loveline?
Yep.
Dr. Drew.
Yep.
So CBS gave me the job.
That's
which
cool.
is awesome. And yeah, we talk about sex and relationships.
Are you fucking kidding me? You're talking about what do you know about sex?
You know, I will say that I'm not.
You told me
there's
you were, like aside like from having a kid, you're like a virgin, right?
Shut up, I'm not a virgin. But there's a lot of things that I haven't done.
Okay.
And you know, I admit to that, but I'm still very sex positive,
Right.
and you know, no judgment to anyone. So we talk about a lot of stuff like that, and I learn a lot as I go as well.
Are you talking to people, talking to the fans, a little bit of each?
Yeah, so like we ideally want to have like celebrity guests come over.
Okay.
And
Who do I got to talk to try to get on the podcast?
Call me. You can call me directly. I got you.
Okay, but I think that like I don't know, like I would blush talking to you about sex, just sex in general.
Really?
Like just publicly, because you know I have kids that are my son's 14 and 16. They hear all this shit. Like there's like you still have a little one, so he's not on the phone. He's
right.
not, when he gets a little older, has his own phone, he's able to like then you're gonna be a little bit more like, oh shit. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like, if you asked me about like, is my fuck style buckwild? And I'm gonna like say unedited, I'd be like, of course it's my fuck style's buckwild, Amber. But then like the fact that I know that my 14 and 6-year-old, they're gonna have to go to school and then they're gonna be like, yo, your dad said his fuck style's buckwild to Amber Rose. Like
I understand, but I tell my 3-year-old son, but I will eventually, as he gets older, to be very sex positive as well. I'm gonna be like Barbara Streisand on fuckers. Like I'm gonna ask if he gave his wife an orgasm. Like I'm gonna make sure that he's, he's a good lover.
I got you. And how are you enjoying your trip to New York? This is a short but sweet. And what do I gotta do? Let's cut the bullshit here. You got your sunglasses on. The last time we podcasted, you took them off for me. Okay, I don't know if you remember that. Now you do a talk show. Like sometimes you wear the sunglasses, sometimes you don't. To be a talk show host,
No, I don't wear sunglasses when I'm a talk show host. But I've been up since 4 o'clock. I did fucking Good Morning
America. Just give me a little flash, just for me. Jesus Christ, Amber. You don't look like you've been up since 4 in the morning.
I have.
You look like you got a good night's sleep.
I told you I was sick yesterday, so I did sleep a lot.
So you're a busy woman. Did you ever think, like when you were first getting into any sort of entertainment, that you would have this so specific? Excuse me, sir. I'm talking here.
How are you?
I'm talking here. That's my man, the big Hall of Famer.
How you doing, dog? Doing all right?
Yo, it's good. I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. The big Hall of Famer, Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq, what's up?
Did you ever imagine that you would have, like, your success and your Amber Rose brand is so specific?
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that it would, did you ever imagine that it would be as so mainstream and as so, like, accepted by everybody that it is?
No. Well, okay, so what people don't know about me is that, and I don't know if I said this on the last podcast, but I never wanted to be famous.
Right.
It just happened.
But you have a natural ease with it, though. I mean,
well, no, I didn't.
I know you're shy. Like there's like a yin and yang where, because I do see you as a shy person, but you also are in here wearing a jacket. You got your dome piece is shaved. It's blonde. Like, so it's not like you're trying to hide.
Well, I've had this haircut for 14 years.
I know.
So I'm very comfortable like this, right?
I got you.
So I'm like a walking light bulb. I get it. But at the same time, it kind of just happened for me, and I developed a fan base just off my look alone.
Right.
So, I really had no other chance but to grow.
I got you.
And so that's what I did, and I just became an entrepreneur and dipped and dabbed my hands in everything and figured out what I liked along the way, and it just worked.
Well, all right, I got to go introduce you. No, I'm going to let Amber go. Listen, Amber, I love you. I support you. I'm glad that you're having so much success.
Thank you.
I respect it. I admire it. And thanks for talking to me on this short stint on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast.
Yes, and can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to open up a strip club in Los Angeles right now.
Shit.
And it's going to be fucking epic.
Yo.
So stay tuned.
That That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
All right, Amber.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
All right. The big Hall of Famer is in the building. I feel like the big Hall of Famer is like the new thing. You're going into the Hall of Fame in a matter of hours.
Yeah, they said it was pretty good. Did I know it was gonna happen? Yes.
At what point did you know? Before you got in the league? Before, like in high school, college? Like, I mean, when I first saw you in high school,
Elementary. And let me tell you why.
Did you really know?
Well, I didn't know, but my father knew. And like he used to work me out. He used to make me do all this Karate Kid type shit, like jump, just like jump, and like he used to be like, jump on the top of the counter and just grab that plate and don't break it. So like he'd help me work on my hands, working on my jumping. So I did a lot of stuff, and he's like you. He's a basketball nut, basketball historian. Loved the Knicks. So when Pat came on the scene, definitely had to watch Pat. Like he tried to make me watch Bill, Kareem, and Will, and you know me and you from the same era, hip hop era. They were too old school. Like first shot I shot was the sky hook.
Right.
I'm 6, 7 years old shooting sky hooks on other little kids. I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Then I seen Pat Ewing, knee pads, mean, long socks, the Hoyas, the Nikes,
the Georgetown shit.
The Georgetown Hoyas. I was like, you know what, I can do this. But he always envisioned me being a great big man, and coming from that era where you just want people to say you're the best, you will do whatever. Like me when I played, I had the block mentality. I'm new. I see you running that corner, but guess what? I'm coming.
Right.
I'm coming to take that corner.
Right.
Not only that, I'm taking a corner. I'm taking a coast. I'm taking everything. I want to be the Pablo Escobar big man.
Yes.
All this shit's going to be mine.
Shut it down.
Yes.
All right, you mentioned Pat. When you first came in the league, one of your first people that you went at was Pat.
Because also growing up as a youngster, you watch karate movies. And in karate movies, the student, in order to become the master, got to take out the master. Like I seen that in every karate movie I watched.
I got you.
So it was like, if I want to be the man, I got to kill the man.
I got you. I hear you.
And like
you can't be friendly with him.
And then I read a quote one time that says, "You show people respect by showing them none."
I got you.
So like I'm gonna respect you, Pat, but guess what? I'm Shaq.
I think that one of the most misunderstood things Allen Iverson ever said was when he was talking about Jordan. He said, "When I'm on the court, I don't respect him," and people were like, and I said he said that wrong, but what he was saying is just what you said.
Yeah, like you can. And I actually got in trouble with my dad one day because one of my other idols, I showed him too much respect in the finals, and the result was we got swept. Keem Olajuwon, like he was just a nice guy. You know how I played. I used to bow people in their face and their mouth, but Keem was just so good to me that I was just trying to play him straight up. Rather than go to the Shaq Brick City game, and my father ripped me a new one.
Do you still like athletes? I think it's so funny that you guys have incredible memories about the games. Is that one of the things in basketball in your basketball career that you kind of like you regret?
No, I don't.
I mean, you accomplished so much after, but that one was a tough one.
I don't regret it because I'm the type that once I lose, it starts a fire inside me. So I lost. I got embarrassed a little bit, so I always said to myself, if I ever get back there, I'm never losing again. And that's why when I was able to get to L.A., I was able to knock off 3 in a row.
I got you.
Because, every time we get to the finals, I come in the locker room, don't nobody shoot it, throw me that motherfucker, and just move out the way.
I got you. All right. Shaq Fu, he ain't got nothing to prove. Talk to me about what you feel, what you like, what you don't like about hip-hop right now. You and I are from the same, where it was like when the records would come out, I could remember the first time I heard Eric B for President.
Oh, yeah.
Like I remember the act, I remember where I was. It was a different time digitally and technology-wise, so you'd hear it on the radio. You'd chase tapes. How do you feel about and I know you appreciate the art and the love of it. I know you love it. How do you feel about where the music itself is right now?
It's different, and Ed Lover said something interesting the other day. He said, let's leave these kids alone. Because when we came out with our shit, everybody was making fun of us too. I kind of did my research, and it's true. Like, my mom and them didn't like the stuff that we was doing, so I understand. But yeah, you still got to respect the art, respect the craft. I think these days, you got a lot of guys doing what other guys are doing. Like, when I heard the Future joint, I'm like, damn. I mean, when I heard the Panda joint, I was like, damn, Future got a hit.
Right.
But it wasn't Future. It was
Right.
Panda. So a lot of guys are sounding alike. Like, I can go in my old CD thing right now and hear 10 Hall of Famers that sound different. Heavy D sound different from Eric B.
Look different.
Yeah, Eric B sound different than Wu-Tang, Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Mo Rap. Like everybody did their thing and then brought it in a way to where you could just love music. And then I'm in Texas one day and I'm riding and I hear some funky shit. I'm like, who is this? DJ Quick? Oh my God. And then NWA, and then
Right.
Snoop, then Dre.
And they were all different.
Yeah, they were all different. And then, oh shit, Master P, Cash Money, like
Right.
that was up. But now it's like, between me and you, I listen to Backspin and Shaq for radio.
That's it.
Yeah, because I got my own radio app and I just play all the old shit.
And you on Shaq for Radio, is it just hip hop or is it soul, R&B,
hip hop and R&B?
and the dusty soul?
Yeah, and the Dusty Soul.
The thing that frustrates me about, you said craft, like, you know, to be called a DJ before, that was something earned.
Yes.
You could play music, then that's just you're playing
Yes.
music. But where your crates at? Can you mix? Can you beat chuckle? What do you got?
I'm a DJ and I do like Serato because
Right.
you can have all your
Right,
music
I
right
got
there. I like that, but like a lot of guys are just fucking pressing buttons.
Right.
You know, like I mean, I don't see no scratching, no cutting,
skill
no messing.
set.
Yeah, like you know, a lot of guys just learning how to do it from other guys, and they just hitting buttons. And it's crazy. These DJs making 10, 50 million.
Yo,
Yeah,
I
it's
told my
crazy.
kids, you know
Yeah.
what? You don't like school? Okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
learn how to work this program. You don't like school? I don't have a problem with it. Learn how to work this
Right.
program. You could be like, you know, the two of them, two crazy Jewish
it's
brother
crazy.
DJ. Because
Right.
these DJs down in Vegas, Afrojack, where's your Afro at, Afrojack? Yo, that dude's making 60 million, and
Yeah,
God bless
60
him.
million,
But
yeah.
I told my sons, if
Yeah.
you guys got a problem with it, learn the little program and go down there, get goofy, and go to
Tiesto,
Vegas.
Steve Aoki, all
Do
these
your thing.
guys. Yeah, all these guys.
Because you could literally, like, and I don't even think they, like, EDM? What the are you kidding me?
I don't like EDM, but I like trap. Trap is a mixture of
trap
EDM.
is different, though.
Trap, EDM, and hip hop. So like because I did Tomorrow World Festival last year and this year. So I mean, but I've been DJing since '88. I had the SB 1200s.
Right, but
I went to the pawn shop, got me a little Pioneer mixer.
Right.
So I was doing it back then.
Yes.
Like a real DJ. So, like, a lot of times when I do it now, people, oh, Shaq's a celebrity DJ. Not really, because I DJed in college to
Come
get some
on,
money.
Shaq, you don't have to explain
Yes,
that to me. Your
yeah.
pedigree in hip hop is official, man. Your pedigree is official.
Appreciate that.
Who's the one? I think about this sometimes when I see you. You have the spirit. You're so likable. One of the things that I love about you as you played bully ball, but you never bullied anybody. Like I never felt like you went out of your way to like make some, like you dominated dudes. You dominated Dikembe. You kicked his ass, but you never humiliated him. You never got in people's faces. And I feel like, that's one of the things I have to say I admire the most about you. Your career is like you never like used your size and your strength and like who you were to make people look like shit. Except for when you were playing with them. Like you never got in people's faces. Some of these dudes, the big men of today, like I was talking about DeMarcus Cousins, who I know you always love, Boogie Cousins. You're 6'10", 7 feet, 300 pounds, Boogie Cousins. Why do you need a box of Kleenex every time you play? Like, why are you crying? Like, and I was saying, like, Pat Ewing, he's trying to get a coaching job. Don't you think they would get their money's worth in Sacramento just if Pat Ewing taught him how to scowl and to be mean instead of always looking like,
I tell them all the time.
Stop crying.
Yeah, I tell them all the time, take it from experience. They're not going to take care of the big man.
And especially, you don't look good being 7 feet crying.
Yeah, you don't.
And that's one of the things about you.
Yeah.
Like you, the good, the bad, the wins, the loss. It was never bitching. I'll say bitching. Like you handled your size with grace and dignity, and it's a lot to deal with. So that's one of the things when I think about your career, and I'm tripping that I'm even talking to you, Shaq, on my podcast. And we're here at the IAB podcast. So tell me about your podcast.
It's the big podcast.
Of course it's the big podcast.
On Podcast One, and you were one of my first and best interviews. I appreciate you for that.
Of course.
And, this just gives us a chance to say what we got to say, be who we want to be, just have a good time doing it. And I know yours is successful. Mine's pretty successful. Again, thank you for coming on. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I think the movie game is like the hip hop game. I want to see some of the old heads. It's all messed up. I want to see you come back and do some of those movies you do.
Absolutely, bro. I'm doing them. I got some stuff coming out.
I appreciate you.
Yo, Shaq, what more can I say? This is a potpourri podcast. I talked to Amber Rose. She's looking good and smelling good. I'm just going to tell you. So if you come in her press, she smells just how you would imagine.
Okay, I appreciate that, but I can't say much because my woman looking right at me.
I got you. I'm just saying in general, like there's just it's like a flower. Like if you go to a museum, you see a Picasso, you're gonna be like, this is a beautiful painting. So I'm just letting you know that. Yo, Shaq, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on here. I'm so glad. I'm so excited for you to be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
It goes without saying. First ballot.
Get him, baby.
Yes, no, baby. He's just fantastic. I just told him for myself. I have a lady. I'm totally attached. I said that Amber Rose here, and she looked good, and she actually smelled good. And he didn't even bat an eye about that. So I'm just letting you know. He said my girl smells even better. All right. So, yo, I'm looking forward for more of the podcast.
All right, brother. Love you.
I love you too, Shaq.
All right.
You're my
tell your
man.
sons I said what's
I will,
up.
man.
Tell them Uncle Shaq said hello.
Of course, man.
All right, buddy.
The big Hall of Famer.
IAB Rapaport podcast.
Yeah. Go ahead. I know you are, but go ahead. So you tell the listeners who you are.
So my name's Jody Avrigan. I am the host of the 538 Elections podcast.
Yes.
But I'm also at this little dog and pony show today.
Yes.
To talk about the fact that ESPN,
Yes.
538 is owned by ESPN. ESPN will soon be launching, and I'm lucky to be a part of it, 30 for 30 podcasts. Documentaries. So we can talk politics, or we can talk sports, or we can talk whatever.
Whoa.
I know that I just scooped
30
myself.
for 30 podcast. What does that mean?
So we're going to make original sports documentaries in the 30 for 30 style that you know, but for audio, for podcasts.
Oh, my God. First of all, I'm a tremendous
Yes.
fan. I did an award-winning 30 for 30 myself.
Oh, there's a reason I'm sitting here
I'll
with you,
toot
my
my
friend.
horn. I see Abby Wambach.
Yes.
I want to talk to, who I'm a fan of. I'll talk to her later. How you doing, Abby? But that's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited.
are you announcing that today?
Yeah, we're announcing it today. I mean, we've announced it before, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. And as the election wraps up, I'm going to sort of transition over and take the lead on making those. So,
shit.
So it's kind of great.
Because I got to tell you, that'll be so much easier than just making a 30 for 30, 30 for 30. Because a 30 for 30, they're fun. I had a ball making when the garden was
Easier.
eaten.
You just
so much
insulted
easier.
the entire radio community.
No, it'll be easier because you won't need, because so much of the budget goes, like I did a
Do you
documentary.
have the tape? Can you get the archive? Exactly.
Because you're talking about it, but you can't see
Yeah,
it.
and so the ESPN Films folks who are part of this are really excited, and I am too, because there's so many stories they can't tell.
Yes.
Because there's no tape.
Yes.
Someone comes to them and is like, "Oh, I have this great idea.
Yes.
Do this story of like this fight that happened in the locker room 20 years ago."
That's what
And
I'm
they're
saying.
Like, well, is there footage?
And you could do more smaller stories. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be just about, that's so good to
Right.
hear. So your podcast is a political podcast on the 30 for 30 network. I'm sorry, on the ESPN network.
So 538, I only work for places that have numbers. So 538, 30 for 30.
It's really
very
key. Yeah,
confusing.
it's easy to keep
so
up with.
538 is Nate Silver's website.
Yep.
And it is owned by, of all places, ESPN.
Okay.
It's one of these sort of affiliate sites. You know,
I got
there's
you.
There's the Undefeated, there's 538. So we do political coverage in addition to other data journalism. We do sports and culture and all that stuff. But we have an elections podcast, which,
Of course.
right now there's plenty to talk about. So that's going, and it's, Nate's on it, I'm on it, and Harry Enton and Claire Malone, two of our other writers, are on it, and we get together every week and talk about the election.
Has this political season for you guys been almost like as frustrating as it's been, as somebody that's doing podcasts and doing journalism about it? It has to be like it's like a good meal. Every single time some crazy shit happens, it has to be a good meal.
It is. Let me think how to phrase this. It is good grist for conversation.
Grist. I never even heard that word before.
It is like, it keeps you on your toes.
Right.
There's plenty to talk about. Every time we sit down, it's like, there's a list of 20 things to talk about, and we only get to 15 of them. I will say, and this is the kind of more lovey-dovey side of me or whatever, but like issues, like actual substance has just not entered the conversation yet. And that is a little frustrating.
Wait, actual
substance. Remember how elections used
you
to be
mean in
run
the
on that
policy,
kind of-
right?
in the election.
Because
And
it's
so,
all
like,
about
for
emails and
weeks-
lying and
or just the
hairdos.
tweets or insults or whatever. And so there's plenty to talk about, and,
Right.
and people are interested and so forth. But, for months we've been like, okay, at some point we're going to roll up our sleeves and dive into the economic policy
It's a
or
soap
the immigration
opera.
policy.
It turned into
yeah.
like a bad reality show.
Right.
Let me
and
ask
so
you
it's
a
tough
question.
to cover in that way.
I got you. So let me ask you a question. And you could be totally honest. If you had the opportunity right now in this political climate to interview me, no, I'm just kidding, to interview Hillary, Obama, or Trump, right now, you could only get one, but you get them and you get them all access, 90 minutes, no questions off the board. You had to pick one, Hillary, Trump, or Obama right now. Who would you pick?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is that you would want to interview Donald Trump. He's the most fascinating character right now. He's the one for whom I think we have a lot of serious questions.
Right.
We have made official, asks of all the candidates.
Right.
But I can also say Trump because it's probably safe to say he's not going to come on our podcast.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean,
Who would you want to interview?
out of those three,
Yeah.
I would say Trump because I would because the thing about Trump, as far as politics is concerned, he is a good shit talker and he's a bully and he's a bully with his mouth, and that would be something that I would be into bringing to him.
Because you'd like to go toe to toe.
Because like my biggest concern about Hillary debating him is that she's not, like he's a New York shit talking guy, and I'm a New York shit talking guy, and I would want to protect her. I feel, like I'd want to protect her. But as far as like going at it with somebody, if I was informed, like let's say somebody had somebody like you, like you're like my Mickey and I'm Rocky and you're training me and you're giving me all the questions. If I had all like the real sort of hot button questions, I'd have to prepare.
Yeah.
But if I was prepared, I'd want to get Trump because I want to bring him to his knees verbally.
Yeah. And I think we're starting to see, so one of the big ongoing conversations has been like, is the media letting Trump off the hook, or did the media cause Trump or whatever? I actually think that the press has been pretty good. There's been some really good investigative reporting of Trump when he's on like the Sunday shows. They're starting to ask substantive questions of him, but he is just willing to cross certain lines when it comes to truthfulness and just saying what he feels expedient in that very moment that other people just haven't crossed before.
Yeah.
And so I think the press is like in real time learning how to deal with a character like this.
I agree because he's brought it down to used car salesman level, and again, but there's a place you can't be presidential and be talking that crazy shit that he talks in a
I mean, it may just change the definition of presidential, right? That's basically the big question.
He's gotten this far, so you're right.
So it changed the definition of what it means to win a primary contested by 16 different people and eke over the bar,
right?
Which is, we should put that in context.
But would you say eke over the bar? He's flown over the bar.
Well, look, here's one of the ways I think about it. In order for Trump to have been the nominee, there needed to have been like, it's like a Rube Goldberg kind of like thing. Like 15 things needed to have gone perfectly right, I believe, for him to have gotten through. And 15 of them did. And if only 14 of them had, then someone else would have gone through. There'll be plenty of dissertations and retrospectives on what exactly those 15 were, but I really do think it was an incredibly narrow and winding path, and he happened to walk it, and that stuff happens, right?
Okay.
If something has a 10% chance of happening, it means 1 every 10 times, that's going to happen, right?
That makes sense. What's the big deal with Hillary and these fucking emails? I don't give a shit about her emails.
You sound like Bernie Sanders.
I could give a shit about her emails. I don't care. Listen, we all do things on the low. We all hop into the DMs. We all do weird shit. We all got
We're not all running for president.
But who gives a shit though? Who cares? Like,
So
what's the big deal? Like, what is the politically correct thing, and what is the real big deal? Explain it to me in layman's terms.
Well, the way I think about it is looking at how the press is covering it. And I do think right now there is an impulse among the press to say Trump, it's like as crazy as he is and unprecedented as he is, it's to some extent easy. Maybe isn't the right word, but like the ways to cover him are apparent. Right. They're right there. They're obvious. And there is a natural impulse in the press to like even the score. And I think journalists, for good reasons, feel a little antsy when they're like, we're just we're just interrogating one side of the ledger here. And so I think that we've seen with Clinton, there is at times this notion of like, well, we gotta go after her on certain things. And the only things there are things like the emails or the Clinton Foundation and so forth.
I got you.
But there are legit questions to be asked. I actually believe that. But sometimes you do, like, you ask the legit questions, and the answer is, there's not much there. And the press needs to be willing, with Trump and with Clinton, to be like, we looked into this, it's not that big of a deal, and we're going to move on.
Right.
But Hillary Clinton has been very powerful, been a part of key, important, world-changing decisions for decades. There's plenty there to investigate.
Right.
But it's tough to figure out when the standards are so different, you know?
All right. Well, that makes sense. I appreciate the insight. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm seriously looking forward to the ESPN 30 for 30.
It's going to be really fun.
I can't wait. Have you guys recorded any yet?
No, we're just starting now. We just hired up a little team of producers. We're going to make a lot of them in-house.
Oh,
but
man.
also, I want to be in a position to, like 30 for 30 does, you know, work with a filmmaker and say, hey, let's make a podcast.
I would die.
But it's going to be, you know, we're giving ourselves a good amount of time, 6 months or so, to produce these and really report
That's going to
them.
be a huge hit, and I'm excited that you guys are doing it. And I'm already going to put my name in the hat.
Well, come by the offices.
I would love to. I'm hitting Libby and Connor Schnell.
These are all the people that I work with.
And all the people, and would love to do that.
Cool, man.
All right, cool, man. Thanks for talking.
Take care.
All right. All right, football is back, and to celebrate, DraftKings is hosting another free fantasy contest this weekend, week 2. $100,000 in total prizes are up for grabs. No deposit required. You heard that right, none. So put your fantasy knowledge to the test. Win $100,000 this weekend at DraftKings.com. DraftKings is the destination for 1 week fantasy football. That means no season-long commitments. Play when you want with the players you want. Just pick your contest, draft your players, and follow your team live. Renew old rivalries with friends. Prove you're the superior GM. You got a cousin, an uncle, your father, your mother. They think they're good at fantasy. Take them down. Or try 50-50 contest where the top half of all entries win cash. Whether you're a 1 week fantasy rookie or a grizzled vet like myself, DraftKings offers fun, fair, and free contests for you all season long. Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use the promo code Rapaport, RAPAPORT, and play for free this weekend. You can win up to $100,000. This weekend is free. No deposit is required, so there's no reason not to play. Again, use the promo code Rapaport and play for free for your share of $100,000. Only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Eligibility and restrictions may apply. Listen, you know where to find me. You want to dance with the dingo? I gave a lot of people that work this weekend. You know who you are. We're going to discuss it on the Fantasy Football Follies. You know who got that work. I took some L's too. It's part of the game. But I'll be back again. You want to play me? You want to win again? You want to lose some more? Dance with the dingo. We have the I Am Rapaport League. Look me up. My team is named Rapaport's Delight. My face is the picture. You can't miss this face. Let's do it. Dance with the dingo. Step in the ring. Wear a skirt. Wear something nice when you come to dance with the dingo. You think you could beat me? Let's ball.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
All right, the hits just keep on coming. I'm here with Abby Wambach, who... How many gold medals do you win, like trophies? You got a trophy case? You got any gold medals in your pockets? You got dope shoes on, like...
I don't have any medals in my pocket. I have 2 gold medals and a World Cup championship.
Where do you keep your World Cup trophy?
Actually, there's like one trophy that stays at the U.S. Soccer House.
Did they ever like the NHL guys like get you like? Do you get a weekend with the trophy?
I wish, actually. I really wish that were the case. But FIFA does this weird thing that they give you these little kind of jankety medals.
Right.
And I think the whole deal is like the World Cup trophy is the thing.
I got you.
Yeah, it's not like the Olympics. I mean, it's similar, like World Championship win is like the Olympics, but it's very different in terms of the way that they give you hardware for.
What aesthetically, because I know they just sort of become things you get used to, and it's more about the experience. Aesthetically, which is your most, like, this is a cool trophy, or this is a cool ring, or this is a cool medal?
I think the
Just
gold.
pure
I think
aesthetics.
the Olympic gold medals are.
Right.
There's something about that because when I was a kid, I didn't really know what the FIFA World Cup was.
Right.
But you grow up watching the Olympics, both summer and winter, and it's just the thing that all athletes kind of aspire to have. But then, of course, it's like, where do you keep your gold medal?
Right.
And it's like your sock drawer. Like almost 90% of all Olympic athletes would tell you that. It's either that or it's like on a frame above their sock drawer.
What did you think of the Olympics for the U.S. female team? I personally like it just slipped in my mind. The goaltender.
You like Hope?
I like Hope. I'll tell you why I like Hope. I want my goaltender talking shit.
Right.
I want my goaltender to be competitive.
Right.
I want her to be pissed off that she lost.
Yeah.
That's what I would be like.
Well, I think that, especially under those circumstances, anybody's going to be upset, after the game. But all goalkeepers are a little bit different, you know? And you need to have somebody who's willing to take the team's, they're the last line of defense. So, yeah, Hope, she's opinionated. She speaks her mind. Do I agree with her all the time? No.
Right.
But that's something that, as a friend of hers, we've been able to, work through over the many years of trial and error.
Because you guys have grown up together. Like, the girls on these teams, you must meet each other. Like, there's, at a certain point, you become, the elite team player, and then the next go to the next level, and you're the elite college player, and then so you must known these girls that you played with for years. Yeah,
we spent so much time together that they become like your sister, So it's like you're not always going to get along with your family members, and you're not going to always agree with the things that they do, but you're still going to respect them, and that's the most important thing. That Hope. She was one of the best goalkeepers in the history of this team for many, many years, and even in the world. And she added so much value to the team's growth and the team's winning capability. Do I agree with everything she does?
Right.
No, but I bet she would probably say the same thing for me.
Do you think that because as far as I know, forget the personal stuff out because I don't want to talk about that. But as far as I know, do you think that she got an unfair punishment, like a male a male athlete would have been punished as hard to say what she said just at this U.S. Olympics, or is it a culmination of it?
Well, it's a culmination of a lot of things that happen behind the scenes.
Right.
And I think their coach Jill just came out this last week stating that fact that after all the transgressions that have happened throughout the time that at least Jill's been the coach, they sit in a room and they brainstorm and they say, okay, here are your limitations. This is where you need to live within.
I got you.
And if you step outside of that, then there's going to be repercussions. And that's kind of the thing that ended up happening with Hope. And it's unfortunate because she's been such a value to our team. For so many years, but at some point your coach has to make decisions that's going to be best for the group and the whole moving forward.
Okay. All right, so we're at the upfront for podcasting. Tell me about your podcast. What is it, and where is it now right now?
So it's at the infancy stage. I just started it. I retired in December and have been pretty busy. I signed a contract with ESPN, and the podcasting space is something that I'm really excited and passionate about. I listen to all the podcasts. I actually don't listen to yours.
Jesus Christ. Let's end this. No, I want to end this now. Why am I speaking to this woman?
No offense. I will now. I didn't even know you had one.
It's all right, Abby.
But the truth is that my podcast is called Fearless Conversation with me, Abby Wambach, and I think that there are so many opinions out there, and then there's so many haters that there's really no space to be able to agree to disagree on stuff, right? So let's just take this Hope conversation.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of people that agree, and there's going to be a lot of people that disagree.
Right.
But for me, we have to find space within ourselves and each other that we have to accept other opinions and be okay with that, not kill each other for it, and not post all these horrible, hateful, dangerous things, and irresponsible things in response to somebody who doesn't believe the same things that you do. I think that's irresponsible, and so I want my space to be a conversation about kind of elephants in the room, things that are hard to talk about, because I actually like talking about hard things.
I think it's important too. I think that the more you get to the conversations that are uncomfortable, and that are, you might say the wrong thing. You could say the wrong thing. It doesn't mean we could agree to disagree. You could say the wrong thing. We could believe the wrong thing. But I think having the dialogue is important.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, one of the things. And now listen, I'm not going to front, Abby. I'm not a humongous soccer fan, but the biggest thing now is the girl the other day with the Colin Kaepernick thing. Her last name is
Megan Rapinoe. Yeah.
Is it Rapinoe or Rapinoe?
It's Rapinoe.
Because I thought she maybe was trying to disguise herself to not be related to me in some way, because I'm Rapaport and she was Rapinoe. So, all right, so it's Rapinoe. So what has been your take on that? and you know, the backlash from it. I mean, and you know, just in the soccer community, what is your take on it?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of conversation, and I think that's what both her and Colin were trying to get out of it, right? I believe that as an American citizen, we all are allowed and should feel free to exercise our right to protest. And for me, it's been an evolution since Colin didn't stand for the national anthem at first, because I'm so patriotic. I value the American flag. I value our national anthem because I've represented my country for so many years. I like bleed red, white, and blue. So it was really hard for me to understand and swallow, being even like the most liberal person maybe that I know. Right. That was hard for me. Right. And so over the past couple of weeks since that's happened, and even Megan's deal recently, it's made me evolve. It's made me understand a little bit more. It's made me want to have these conversations. And I think that that's the point. Whether you agree or disagree with their methods to get the conversation started, you know, I'm kind of, you know, a Michelle Obama fan, where like when they go low, I'm going to go high. I like to stay above that. You know, I don't want to put anything on blast to get my point across. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I don't want to do anything disrespectful. I got you. I think that there are more positive and constructive ways to do it. But man, we're talking about it. Look at us, you know, like, so I don't know. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I think the conversation is what's right, and that's important.
What is, I'm going to let you go in a minute. What is the craziest country to play in when you're competing? Like, where are the fans the most like, holy shit?
I think Brazil has an eclectic group of people. They know the game, and they wish to see a totally different style of game than Americans or even Europeans play. They like 1v1s and fancy foot skills. But even in the whole of Europe, everybody understands the game, right? And in the U.S., it's like when the ball gets near our goal, everybody gets amped up. And in Germany and in England and all these places that know soccer, that know how the game is supposed to be played, they value little crafty things and tactical plays and decisions that are made on the field that maybe like the person who's just learning here in the United States is still trying to figure out.
What city is the most fun to have off days in? What's the best party city? You've been around the whole world, right?
I have, yeah.
Every continent? What is the best party city? Or you can name, you don't have to name one. Give me your three favorite party cities in the whole world.
I will say,
excluding the United States.
I will say Athens, Greece after my first gold medal. I will say London in England after my second gold medal, and then I will say Vancouver, Canada after the World Cup championship.
Really, Vancouver?
Because I've never partied so hard in my life.
Okay, so it might not have necessarily been the city.
Exactly.
Now you brought up
the environment.
Okay, and it was the exuberation of winning.
Yes, exactly.
Now you brought up Brazil. I've never been to Brazil. I am fascinated with the women of Brazil. Are they everything that I could imagine and more? Like if you go to a 7-Eleven, is there like a J-Lo working behind the 7-Eleven?
Right. No, so not everybody looks like Giselle. Okay. A lot of them do, but not everybody looks like Giselle. Okay. And that's a little disappointing, to be quite frank.
Because the hype is so...
Yeah, you're expecting everyone to look like...
You're expecting everybody. Yes, like the homeless person, like how could you, like you should be a supermodel here.
And why aren't they all walking around with bikinis on? I don't understand.
It's not like that.
No, it's not like that at all.
All right, Abby, listen, I'm truly a fan.
Same.
I love that you kick ass. I love that you represent the country so much. And I just love your competitiveness. I've been a fan. And I wish you a lot of luck with the podcast.
Thanks, man. I can't wait to listen to your podcast.
The I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is a worldwide phenomenon.
I love it.
All right, thank you, Abby.
Thanks, man.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
All right. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Potpourri podcast from the IABs. I'm very excited to talk to you. I've spoken to a lot of big-time podcasting people, but I'm here with Guy. How do I say your last name? Roz, who is the host of the TED Talks podcast. I'm a huge fan. First off, Guy, what the fuck do I got to do to get on a TED Talk? Like, I mean, I'm prolific. I've done a few things.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen you. You've had some of them are fantastic.
Yeah, but
I'd say there's a handful of questions where I'm like, if this fucking guy could do a TED Talk.
Why am I not doing it?
What do I got to do to get a TED Talk?
I think that's a really good question. I mean, you know, we've got scientists from MIT. We've got researchers who have like decoded the genome, and I think it's a good question.
I mean,
it's a good question.
You don't have the answer, Guy. That's fine. That's fine. All right, so let me ask you a question. Second of all, who the fuck is Ted?
Yes.
Who is Ted?
TED is so a lot of people think I'm TED.
Right.
Like
You're not your guy.
I am not TED. TED is technology, entertainment, design. Right.
Okay.
And so originally the conference was about anything to do with technology, entertainment, and design, but it's become TED over the years. So a lot of people ask this question. They say, who is this guy, TED? I do want to say one thing though, in all seriousness. To get on the TED stage, you just have to have an idea. You just have to have a sort of your own idea about anything, really. You don't have to be like a brain surgeon or a chemist or a scientist. You have all kinds of people. You have homeless people. You have people who've never, who sort of, are down and out. I mean, all different kinds of people, but they have something to say.
I got you.
And you have a lot to say.
How did the whole TED world, the TED Talks, first come about? Because I can't remember when I started watching them and seeing them and, online. Like, where did the idea, the inception of it come from?
Yeah, it's crazy. It started out as this, like, conference of nerds and geeks in California in 1984, and it was a closed conference.
I didn't know that it was that long ago.
And, well, it was because it wasn't recorded. They would just hang out in Monterey, and people would come up and speak. But what would happen was all these really amazing people would debut things to this small group of scientists and academics. So, like, the CD-ROM and, Steve Jobs would come and show products, and then in around like 1998, it was bought out by a foundation, and they transformed it into what it is today. So they started videotaping the talks. They moved the conference to Long Beach. Now it's in Vancouver, and they start to make the talks available for free to anyone to see. I think in around 2006, and that totally transformed. That's why you hadn't heard of TED Talks until 2006, because the videos didn't exist until then.
Who has been thus far? You could probably name a few.
Yeah.
Who has been your most proudest TED Talk where you were like, I'm so proud that I'm a part of this thing, not just for myself or my own ego or success, but that this talk is happening and I'm putting this out in the world. Besides, of course, this interview right here, which you don't have to say. You don't have to mention that.
It goes without saying, obviously. It's such a good question, because there are talks that literally, change the way I think about the world. For example, there's a guy named David Steindl-Rast. He's a Benedictine monk, right? And you're thinking, I'm not particularly religious, and what am I going to sort of get out of this guy? And his talk wasn't about faith or God or any of that. It was about happiness, and it was a really amazing talk because he showed that by doing something really simple. I mean, it sounds super corny, but by actually expressing gratitude, there is scientific research that shows when you express gratitude, it actually has a neurological effect on you. It actually makes you happier. If you get up in the morning, you're like, you know what? I'm really fucking lucky today. Like I have a lot to be lucky about, and you think about specific things. It actually is transformational, and I try to do it, especially when I'm feeling negative.
Right.
And it's just a simple idea, and it's one of thousands, tens of thousands of ideas that come out of the TED stage.
Well, give me one other one, because that one's very profound that you mentioned that. Give me one more that you were like, this is great. Like you were like, this is a good thing that I'm doing. Like this is a great talk. I'm great that this is a time capsule on that people will be able to listen to forever.
There's a guy named Andrew Solomon who's given a few TED Talks, and what I really love about his talks is that he's really open about the idea of going through depression and anxiety. I mean, you're a comic. A lot of comics deal with this. They don't talk about it, which is why they get on stage, and that's an outlet. And he's really opened a door to talk about a really serious thing that affects everybody at some point. Everybody gets down, but some people get really down, and he has really sort of changed the way I think about things like depression and anxiety. He has suffered it himself. He's an incredibly accomplished writer, a Pulitzer Prize winner, a National Book Award winner. I mean, just an amazing, incredible person who has really opened up a conversation about this debilitating thing that so many people as human beings experience.
That's cool. Who is on your bucket list of person or people that you've been trying to get that you haven't been able to get for a TED Talk? Again, you don't have to say me. I'm right in front of you. You now have my information. We'll get that done. Aside from myself, who is on the bucket list for the TED Talks that you really would like to get?
Well, I think it would be amazing to hear from somebody like LeBron James.
Oh,
right? I mean,
that'd be
arguably,
cool.
right, one of the greatest, if not the great. Well, you can make the case that he's the greatest basketball player ever. I'd love to hear, his thoughts about what it means to win. I mean, you remember Michael Jordan made that famous speech at the Hall of Fame where he talked about the fire in his belly and just another log in the fire. And it was really controversial, but it was really interesting to get an insight into this guy's mind, how he thinks about winning and victory, and how he's so focused on it. He wanted to win. And I'd love to hear from somebody like LeBron James, who in some ways is like the anti-Michael Jordan. He's a really complex guy. He left the team at one point. He came back. He kind of redeems himself. You could see how emotional he was when they won that game, how much he's just crying. He was so... It meant so much to him, and I'd love to see him come on stage and talk about his ideas about winning, about victory, about failure and success.
Have you talked? Has Kobe done one yet?
I'd love to see Kobe do one.
Because he seems
incredible. Yeah.
He's a great speaker, and he's very articulate about his feelings and his thoughts about sports and challenges and all that stuff. Who are some of the athletes that have been on? Like, who are some of the people that have come through? Like the biggest name athletes that have come on.
It's not. I mean, not super big name. I mean, a lot of Olympians.
Okay.
People like Diana Nyad, the greatest long distance swimmer in history.
She used to live in my building here in New York.
Really?
I used to see her when I was a kid.
Did you ever swim against her?
No.
She swam one of her earliest swims was swimming the perimeter of Manhattan.
And that's why I knew her.
Yeah,
because I grew up and she was like, I was like, me and my mom were like, that's Diane. Like, she knew who she was.
Swam around Manhattan.
Yeah, now she's in the elevator with me.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so Diane, okay, she came on recently, right? Like after she did that big swim, right?
Exactly. She did. We did an episode called Champions that she was on. We've had, Paralympic skiers. We've had, Olympic athletes on the stage, but no sort of MLB or NBA or NFL player. Oh, actually, there has been an NFL player. What's the name of the kicker? That kicker. Oh God, his name escapes me. Anyway, he was on the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
And he was really outspoken about gay rights.
Yep. I know. I can't remember his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
So he's an interesting guy. A lot, as you know, with athletes, a lot of athletes. They express themselves in different ways, especially with their performance and their artistic beauty of what they can do and accomplish. And a lot of them are introverted when it comes to because they're kind of pushed out into the spotlight and it's not their thing. But guys like Kobe, I mean, he would be amazing.
Kobe,
LeBron.
Listen, I'll make it happen right now. He listens to the podcast. So Kobe. Get in contact with Guy. Text me, call me.
Okay.
You'd be fantastic.
I would love it.
Whose TED Talk has been overall throughout the years has there been one that was the most popular or most downloaded TED Talk?
Yeah, there's one by a guy named Ken Robinson. It's been viewed, I think, 35 million times. Wow. Ken Robinson, the talk is about creativity and the problems with how we educate kids. And it's really funny and it's just really well delivered. It's just really straightforward. He tells stories about, how there was this woman who was they thought she had ADD, and so they sent her to different doctors. But it turned out that she was actually just wanted to dance, and she turned into an incredible choreographer who worked for the Royal Ballet in London and is now a dame. And all these amazing stories about how we have turned kids into these these psychological conditions. When in fact, a lot of times it's just kids are hungry to learn, and they've just got a lot of energy and juice inside of them,
Okay, that's cool. You know what would be a suggestion? I think would be a fun one is something on fantasy football, because I'm heavy into fantasy football. It's such a huge business. I don't know if I'm necessarily the person to do it. There's people that know about it more than me. I mean, there's people that make their livings doing it.
Who's your team, Giants?
I'm a Giants fan.
Okay.
But my love and passion for fantasy has sort of surpassed everything that has to do with...
What do you think about the Sam Bradford trade?
I think Sam Bradford is good.
He's good, man.
I think he's going to do well.
Good.
I think Minnesota they were smart to give up with. I think they want to win now.
Yeah.
And I think I thought it was a good trade. I think that people are sleeping on Sam Bradford. I think he's going to do well out there. I think it'll take a week or two, but if they could hold things together, I think it'll be good.
I'm really curious to see what happens with Robert Griffin at Cleveland, because he was our quarterback in DC.
Yeah, okay.
And just a disaster there, obviously.
So you're a football fan?
More baseball fan, but I'm in DC, so
Right, you can't escape the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. Well, I'm not a fan of the team.
Right.
For so many reasons, but I still, you still follow it.
Right. All right. Cool, guy. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, man.
And I really am a fan of TED Talks. I find them inspiring, interesting, and just very entertaining. So I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Potpourri Podcast Extravaganza. The I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Me and G Monetti are going to be live October 14th in Las Vegas, Nevada at Vinyl at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And then on Sunday, October 16th, at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona. Tickets are available at www.IamRapaportTour.com. That's www.IamRapaportTour.com. Come check us out live October 14th in Vegas. We're live Sunday, October 16th at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona. The I Am Rapaport Tour continues, the World Tour Extravaganza. Now we're back to the I Am Rapaport Potpourri Podcast Project. All right. Gretchen.
Yes.
This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. This is a potpourri podcast episode. We're live from the IABs. I am speaking with Gretchen Rubin. She does a podcast called Happier with Gretchen Rubin. I will say, first off, you look like a happy person in general.
That's good.
And you're probably looking at me going, you don't look like a very happy person, Mr. Rapaport.
No, you look happy.
Do I look happy? I'm happy to talk to you.
You know, you're very high energy.
Yes.
And I think that goes a long way.
I get excited to talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this.
That enthusiasm, you convey that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm looking at the mics because we had a tragedy the other day. I recorded a full episode and a half. And it was lost.
Oh my gosh.
And it destroyed my soul. So I'm being extra.
Check it.
All right. So how did you wind up starting your podcast?
Well, so I wrote The Happiness Project, The Happier at Home, Better Than Before, and so I had a big audience from my writing.
Okay.
And so my network Panoply came to me and said, would you like to have a podcast? And I thought, well, this would be cool. This would be a whole new way to reach people with ideas.
Right.
And it's very different. Writing is one way.
Right.
And podcasting is so intimate, it's so conversational. So I thought, this will be fun. And I do it with my sister, who's a TV writer in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And who's brilliant and hilarious. And so it's tons of fun.
That's cool.
And we do it once a week and talk about ideas for how to be happier.
Now, what do you do with somebody like me?
Yeah.
Who at times can be a fucking miserable shit? Like, what would you give? Like, what are the top three sort of topics, tips to sort of get out of the way of yourself?
Okay, well,
at times, because sometimes I get in the way of myself.
So what do you do that gets in the way of yourself?
Oh shit! Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't even be asking you. I'd be doing the I Am Rapaport Stereo.
Yeah. You'd be like bliss, eternal bliss.
Worry.
Yeah, worry. Okay.
I think it's all sort of different versions of worrying.
Okay. So here's an idea for you.
Okay.
Which is schedule time to worry. As weird as that sounds,
I get it.
Sometimes people who find that they're constantly worrying, like let's say you're worrying because you've got some big thing coming up in a week. You're like, I'm not going to start worrying about it till Friday because until then, it's sort of not ready to be worried about, or I'm not going to worry about this until after Thanksgiving.
Got you.
Or maybe every day for 20 minutes, I'm going to let myself worry, and I'm going to sit there at my desk, and maybe I'll write notes, or I'll do whatever it is, and I'm just going to worry then. And if I feel like worrying now, I'm not going to, because I've got my scheduled time to worry. It sounds weird, but for a lot of people who feel kind of consumed with worry, and here's another thing. Do you have racing thoughts at night? Do you have trouble sleeping?
I do. I wouldn't say I have trouble sleeping. To be honest, I find that because of all the social networking, I'm so addicted to my phone. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I find that.
Don't I have some coffee?
Say
do you have
again?
a thing with coffee?
I don't have a thing with.
Okay, I don't have a thing with.
I don't have a thing with coffee. I like my coffee, but I drink it early.
Okay.
Like I know enough to not.
Okay, I thought maybe I remembered that. Okay.
No.
It's your phone. But
my phone. So when you ask about the sleeping, so at night when I put my phone out, I find that my mind is clearer.
Yeah. So you're better at night.
And so I'm better at night, but also like it's like I get creative at night.
Oh, interesting.
So there's goods and bads to that.
So do you maybe want to have another period during the day when you don't have your phone?
Yeah,
like an hour in the morning or something,
I
so
should
that
do
you
that.
can disconnect.
But then how am I going to tweet and Instagram my?
But maybe an hour. Maybe just have an hour free.
Okay. So what do you do when you're not happy, but you need to do work that's around being happy. When you have to podcast, like you obviously you're not a machine. You can't be a total happy machine. You are a ginger, sort of ginger.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because
no,
so
I would.
You have a very sweet face, but like what do you do when you're not happy and you need to do a podcast about sort of generally being happy?
It's funny that you say that because my sister, TV, like what a harsh business that is.
Jesus.
My sister, she was in New York for once, so we were gonna record together and she got this really, really bad news.
Right.
And she was...
What, a show got canceled or didn't get picked up?
Well, or she was going to get staffed. I
got you.
Something bad. And
that fucking business. See, business can really...
It's a killer. It's killer. And it's good for me, because as a writer, I have a lot of control.
Right.
But my sister doesn't. So it's good for both of us to be talking about it because we have different experiences.
I got you.
And she really had to she went out in the hallway, was screaming, was like flipping out, and then she came back, and I'm like, "You got to get it together, my friend.
Right.
Like, we're gonna do this." And she just had to take some deep breaths, and I tried to make her laugh about it and get some perspective and some distance, and But mostly I try to do things like get enough sleep and not be rushing around, like things that are going to make me edgy or irritable. Because,
I got you.
Because those are the things that drag me down and make it hard for me to kind of do my job well.
I got you. So you mentioned sleep, which I think is a humongous. It's a huge factor in the quality of life.
100%. I'm so glad to hear you say that because a lot of people feel like it's optional.
You need to sleep.
You have to sleep.
If you're tired, your mind, you're going to be. I know that I need to sleep. I'm edgy already. Even if I get a good night's sleep, I'm edgy. So what would be sort of. Because and some of the listeners of my podcast, I would say at times they sort of pick up my ornery qualities.
Yeah, well,
what would be?
You're high energy.
I'm high energy, but because I'm excited to talk to you. I'm not always like this. You're getting me at my best, my podcast best. But what would be sort of three tips to sort of helping just your overall happiness and your well-being.
Overall tips, okay.
But aside sleeping. Sleep's number one.
Okay, besides sleeping. One is exercise. I mean, it's such
I agree.
It's such a, everybody knows it.
I agree.
But so here's the thing about exercise. Sometimes people think that they're too tired to exercise, but in fact, exercise boosts energy. So feeling tired is a reason to exercise. So you're nodding your head. You know this.
I agree.
Yeah.
When I wake up and I exercise, I swear to God, I'll sometimes be like, nothing could go wrong in my day.
Right. Well, and I think sometimes people feel like, well, I have to train for the marathon or do an hour spin class or do CrossFit or something. No, it's like even going 20-minute walk is better than
even
nothing.
If you just do 20 push-ups, it's better than nothing.
100%, absolutely. And it affects your mood, your memory, your immune function. It makes it easier to sleep and to sleep more deeply.
I totally agree.
Now here's
sleep, exercise. What else you got?
Okay, here's a weird one so you often think that the way you act because of the way you feel, like you're screaming because you're angry, but to a very great degree, we feel because of the way we act. So your brain is saying like, wow, there's so much screaming and slamming doors around here. I guess I must be really angry. And so you can control your emotional state by controlling your behavior because it's hard to directly control your emotional state, but it's very easy to do your behavior. So let's say you're feeling low energy, you're feeling blue, you're feeling unfriendly, you try to act with more energy, speak more quickly, walk more quickly, act friendly. Just this whole fake it till you feel it. It seems like some
smiling
people,
is if you don't
smile.
If you actually just like I'm smiling now, watch I'm gonna smile.
There you go.
Like, I feel
big
better.
Big smile. So they did this study where they made people have an artificial smile by putting a pencil above their lip and telling them like hold the pencil up, and so they kind of like were false smiling, and even that raised their mood.
I agree.
And so people worry about being inauthentic, but it's not that you're being inauthentic; it's that you're trying to tap into a certain aspect of your emotions that's feeling out of reach. So
I agree.
Act the way you want to feel.
Okay.
And here's one that isn't true for everybody, but is true for a lot of people, which is that for a lot of people, outer order contributes to inner calm. And getting your stuff in order and being able to find your keys and all that stuff makes you feel calmer, makes you feel more energetic. And a lot of people, a friend of mine said, I finally cleaned out my fridge and now I know I can switch careers. And so sometimes that little disorder makes you feel like your head's messed up.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. These are good basic tips, and they're good to remand yourself of.
Yeah, it's not that nobody, you know this. You just have to be reminded.
Do you have a background in psychology or anything like that? No. Because you all right, that's impressive.
I'm a lawyer by training.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you still a lawyer?
No. What? Well, it's kind of like being
Catholic. Because I got a little problem that maybe you can help.
I think like once it's in you, it's always there.
What kind of lawyer did you practice?
Well, I was a law clerk for Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. So I was a I was a hardcore person, and then I just decided I wanted to be a writer instead, so I switched to writing.
So what has been sort of the biggest sort of wow moment with podcasting for you? Like for me, I've had people come up to me on the street, and I'm used to...
You're famous already.
But when people say to me... When the first thing they say to me is, I love your podcast, I'm always so it's almost like every single time it's the first time. It catches me off guard.
Because it's almost like that means I love your soul.
Right.
Because you're revealing yourself in a way
it's so
that
intimate.
You're not even with acting or writing. You're revealing yourself much more.
I agree. And you're talking to people a lot of times in their headphones.
Yeah.
So
wait, can I tell you about a funny moment from you on a podcast?
Yes.
So my husband's obsessed with Bill Simmons, but I don't know anything about sports.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to one just to hear why he loves Bill Simmons. And the one I listened to was one that you were on there, and you were talking about Prince.
Yes.
And what a stickman he was.
Yes.
And I was like, you were using all the slang. I'm like, I literally don't know a single meaning of any of this slang. I think I get the drift.
You
from
got the drift of that.
But I'm like, this is a whole bunch of male slang that
funny.
I have never been exposed
that is
to.
Funny.
I'm like, I need to get out UrbanDictionary.com or something.
That was a good. The stickman was.
Man, you were going on a riff there.
Thank you. All right, but let me ask you. So what has been one of the moments where you were like, wow, my podcast has reached these people, or wow, I didn't, like this celebrity or this person I respect listens to my podcast. What has been a couple of those moments?
One thing was we did an episode. It's always very meaningful because we talk about advice that you can use at home. So we always start with the try this at home tip. We talk about happiness hacks. We talk about stumbling blocks. And when somebody says like, wow, I really had this problem and you guys talked about it and then I did something different and now my life's better. I feel like I'm part of something that's so much bigger than even I could have created. Like we did an episode recently where we talked about reviving a dormant friendship, like looking back in your past and finding somebody who you were once close to but who got away, or somebody where you were always like, oh, that person would be a friend if I just like made a little bit of an effort, but somehow it never happened. And I heard from so many people that were like, oh, when I was listening to that, I was thinking about this person or that person in my life. And over the last month, I've done X, Y, Z. And now I have this whole vibrant friendship. I mean, to me, and research shows, ancient philosophers and contemporary scientists agree that relationships are really the key to happiness. And so the thought that I've helped people reconnect with old friends or make new friends, it's like that kind of thing. That's what means the most to me, is feeling like it's actually helpful. And again, it's all stuff that everybody knows. It's like, of course you know that friendships are important to your happiness. You know that. Yep. It's just you need somebody to kind of remind you and also maybe give you some ideas about, okay, well, if that's true, what would I do differently?
Right.
How would I put that into practice tomorrow?
Right.
So that's for me.
All right. I really appreciate you talking to me.
Oh, this is so much fun.
And I need to start listening to your podcast more often because these things are good and I do get in the way of myself mentally and sort of talk myself on the ledges, and I need to start talking myself down to the ground floor. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, it's so much fun. I'm so happy to talk to you.
And tell your husband, you were talking to, you could tell him you were talking to one of the consummate stickmen out there. And he'll appreciate it, although it might confuse you. But I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
All right. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast Potpourri episode. We are live at the IAB UPRONTS. I'm speaking with
Larry Rosin.
Larry Rosin, and some people who are listening going, who the fuck is Larry Rosin? Larry Rosin is, explain what you do, Larry.
All right, I'm the president of a company called Edison Research.
Yes.
We're based in New Jersey.
Yes.
And we do research about a variety of different things. We're the company, you'll find this interesting, we're the company that does the exit polls for the television networks on election night. So when you watch TV on election night and they say, according to our exit polls, we're projecting. So that's a whole other topic. But we also do a lot of research about media and audio, and we've been measuring the podcasting space for over 10 years now, and so that's why I'm at this conference.
That's cool. So what has been the most interesting, biggest growth about podcasting in the last 10 years?
Well, the biggest growth has come in the last year. It's been sort of a
You blame that on me and my fans.
I would say
we brought
yes, not just blame, credit to
on
you.
us. We brought all the people in,
right,
that weren't listening.
But it's you, and it's so much other energy in the space that is causing growth, and it's been a very slow build over the course of the 10 years. There still are some technological limitations, and it's still sort of foreign to a lot of people. And what we're finding is that the big challenge is sort of getting people into podcasting, because once they get in, a lot of them get sort of stuck and they love it and they listen to tons of podcasts. So there's sort of this tipping point that people need to go through, and then for many of them, they get really into it at that point.
So when you say the biggest challenge is to get them into it, is it because they're reluctant, they don't know, they don't have the technology? What have you found from the Edison group?
So the things I would say, number one is that when most people think of audio, their brain goes to music, and their first thought is to listen to music. And so they need sometimes to be given a taste. Someone say, you should check this out, you should try this, and they realize that there's more than just music that's compelling to them and is exciting to them. Secondly is absolutely technological. It used to be with podcasts really a royal pain to listen to them. You had to sync a file off of your desktop computer over to your iPod and things like that. Now that's much more seamless with people's phones. But even then, Google just added it to Android as a built-in thing. There's still, for a lot of people, technological gaps, and the biggest one that still remains for most people is in the car, because even if they can get the podcast onto their phone, for a lot of people, even though they could through an aux jack or through Bluetooth or something get the sound out of their phone and through the car, it's so painful for a lot of people that they might, I'll just listen to the radio.
I got you.
As that becomes easier and easier, listening will go up more and more because the obstacles will be reduced.
Okay, now listen, I pride myself on my podcast being a worldwide phenomenon. Give me one tip, Larry. One tip how I could just take things to the next level. Like, I'm trying to take things to like other planets, other places undiscovered. Like, so technologically speaking, from a marketing point of view, other than my crazy videos, my Instagrams, my posts, I go on street corners. Are you listening to the Iron Rapaport Stereo Podcast? Give me one tip to take things to the next level.
Well, I think you're doing the right things. I mean, going on other people's podcasts.
Yes.
The overwhelming evidence is that the single most powerful thing to launch a new podcast is to get mentioned on an existing successful podcast. I mean, Serial was great because the content was great, but it was great in part because Ira Glass on a regular episode of This American Life could feature Serial.
Right.
The whole Gimlet group has created sort of a perpetual motion machine where one of the shows is doing well, and it says you should also check out this show. NPR is doing that. Panoply is doing that. And so I think you are doing the right things by being a guest on people's podcasts, like Simmons and others.
Right.
And so that they go, hey, this guy's got something to say. He's got a take. And make sure you mention when you do that, I have my own podcast.
I got you. And so what are the other things? I'm curious now. What are the other things at the Edison Group that you guys are sort of doing research on that you're excited about, and that
So what I'm here to talk about today, I'm showing just some of the general trends on how much it's
Does
growing.
the Edison Group have a podcast in itself?
We don't. Several of us are. Well, I've been guests on many podcasts. Maybe we should launch our own podcast. But what I'm here to talk about today is research we did with the IAB that shows not only is it growing and popular, but that more proof of how well advertising works in this medium.
I got you.
And that advertisers should continue to get on board and should continue to pay very high, we call them cost per thousand, CPM, if you've learned the lingo here, high value for listeners to podcasts, because listeners to podcasts want to support their shows, they want to support their hosts, and they want to support the kinds of companies that support those shows. And so the results are tremendous.
That makes sense. That's good to hear. So, because I was talking to these women earlier, and there's thousands and thousands, and it's getting up into 1 million people will listen to one episode of a podcast. I'm in the film and television business. That's bigger than amount of people that watch a live TV show at times.
Oh, absolutely. And if you sell 1 million tickets to a movie, at $10. That's a good opening weekend.
That's a tremendous opening weekend.
Right. So the numbers are sneaky big. I agree with you, and they're growing. And there's also just a real relationship that builds.
Right.
And
It's an intimacy.
Yeah. And so, hey, whatever the interval is, it's another week and a new episode is out. People get excited for that.
Right.
Similar to how they get excited for a new TV show and things like that.
All right, Larry, listen. I'm going to be introducing you later on. It's going to be fantastic. We're live at the IABs. You've made history, okay, because this is the first I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast Potpourri episode.
Okay.
So I appreciate you talking to me. This is very insightful, and thanks for taking the time, Larry.
Of course, happy to do it.
Thank you.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
All right. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast Potpourri Extravaganza coming live from the IABs. I'm here with the ladies of Stuff You Missed in History Class. And I'm a perfect person because I missed everything, and not just history class, and probably school in general. So how you guys doing?
We're good. Yeah, we've had a pretty good time today.
Have you guys spoken to the people yet?
Yeah, we did our thing a few minutes ago.
Are you guys comfortable speaking live? Do you get nervous?
I used to get nervous. The first time we had a live show.
Are you guys doing the live shows now?
Yeah.
So I'm finding that that's like the sort of the new thing. Like, how do you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it a lot. The first time we had one, though, we had never done one.
Right.
And I was extremely nervous. But after we got that first one out of the way, then it was a lot better. How about you?
I love it. I mean, I always say I don't get nervous, I get excited.
Right.
Even if I'm shaky, it's just because I'm like, this is going to be fun. It's like getting on a roller coaster.
Right. It's like
and
you
I
get
love
pumped.
talking to people, so it's super duper fun for me.
So what inspired your podcast?
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we have, even though it's called Stuff You Missed in History Class, the range is open enough that it's kind of like anything that we find that's interesting, we can run with.
Right.
So we really have a lovely bit of freedom in that regard, where we can talk about the manure crisis in New York in the 1900s, and we can talk about, issues of sexuality through history, and we can talk about the more staid things that people expect.
I got you.
We can talk about historical figures, but there's also a lot of other color in the past that needs to be talked about.
Did you guys miss a lot of shit in history class?
Yeah, well, there's the stuff that I don't remember because I found history classes boring in school.
Right.
And then there's the part that they just skipped over.
Right.
Like they didn't really get into a lot of the sorts of things that we talk about.
What is some of the because people have such different point of views on history and the world, and people want to believe what they want to believe. What has been one of the topics that you guys have dealt with that have sort of pissed people off or sort of caused the biggest uproar? Because now it's like you could do a podcast and then you become this, celebrity podcasters, and obviously I'm sure you guys are on Twitter and social media because it's all part of the podcasting world. What's been the one that drove people nuts?
I'm trying to think.
Has there been a few of them?
Oh, yeah. We just got to pick the one that made people the most angry.
I'm just looking at my mic down here.
A lot of times it's how we pronounce something will set off a ridiculous rage battle.
What the yeah, well,
right? I'm with you. That's exactly my reaction.
You hear the way I speak because, I
You're my people. Here's one that you would never have expected. So we did one, because we try to, have a little foresight and be like, this might cause some weirdness.
Right.
We should just be ready. We did one on the history of crayons.
Uh-huh.
This seems benign.
Right.
It's not. We started the biggest war on social media about how people pronounce the word crayon.
It was ridiculous.
They're stupid idiots. It was...
What crayon?
Right.
What's the pronunciation?
I say crayon, you say crayon. You say crayon.
Crayon.
People in sort of more the Midwest, it's more like crown. Like it's one syllable kind of slurred together.
That doesn't work. Crown?
Kind of, yeah.
I mean,
I can't really do it because that's not where I grew up.
Right. I'm not one
I'm
to...
never going to sound right.
Yeah, I hear you. My pronunciation, the way I speak is there's nothing, fantastic about it.
Yeah.
So that would be the one thing that stuck out of all the things. But what about in terms of You bitches don't, because I'm sure that they probably call you. I'm not saying that, but I'm sure, because on social media, it's like, I've been called you bitches, and I'm just one person, but like, so what was the one thing, like, that's not right, and, this didn't happen, and you bees don't know what the hell you're talking about? In a historical context.
Anything about slavery.
Anything about slavery.
Wow, okay.
And then the people come and they say, why don't you ever talk about the Irish slaves? And it's like, well, because that's not a real thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the unfortunate thing that happens when people do get sort of a broad strokes, whittled down version of history in school, which is no way shade to teachers. Like, they are working their asses off.
Right.
But a lot of times you kind of get the broad strokes, bullet points version.
Right.
And you don't realize, no, there's a lot of shading in there. And
right.
Historians are writing things from certain points of view, so you can't just look at one textbook or one account.
Right.
You have to look at a broad scope, and that's when the patterns really start to emerge, and you realize maybe what you were taught and tested on was not entirely accurate.
If somebody like myself, who was failed by the public school system of New York City and the alternative private schools that I went to, wanted to sort of educate himself more on history in general, what would you say are the 3 quintessential history books to read? Let's start with American history. What would you say are the 3? What would or in general, what would you say are the 3 sort of best ways to sort of re-educate, revitalize somebody's interest, besides listening to your podcast, of course? What would be sort of like the best way to start?
See, I think it's really hard to pick a book because a lot of our show is focused on a specific thing.
Okay.
So instead of like a book that's going to give you an overview, we're usually focused on like books and primary sources about the individual incident that we're talking about instead of like the big arc.
So you go like more specific about the incident. I got you.
Right. Yeah.
So I have a book suggestion.
Give it to me.
And it will surprise no one that listens to our podcast because I have rabies for Queen Victoria. I just do. I love her.
Okay.
But Christopher Hibbert wrote a really good biography of her. And why I think it's important is because her reign was so long and her life touched all of Europe and parts of America in terms of influence, that it becomes a really good snapshot of that chunk of time.
Okay.
So from, the early 1800s right up to 1900, she was influencing the globe continually.
Okay.
So that's a good one, I think. And it's
what
a
is
good
the name
read.
of the book?
I think it's Queen Victoria, A Life. I hope I'm not confusing it with another Victoria title that I read recently.
All right. Now, you told me you are a Housewife fan.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now I'm going to blow your mind right now.
Okay, do it.
Tonight, I'm going on Watch What Happens Live. I love that
I'm
you
really
know
pissed off because my hotel doesn't get Bravo.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to watch the after show online.
Okay.
That's all I got.
You got to watch the after show. And I'm on with Bethany.
Yes.
So
it's going to go down.
It's going down.
That situation is popping off. I hope you are ready to light the fuse.
Oh, I'm ready to light the fuse. I mean, what was your opinion of the finale of Real Housewives of New York this year?
Okay, I got to think of the finale because the last thing I watched was the first of the reunion shows.
Okay. Well, just in general.
The whole thing is cuckoo bananas.
Nuts.
Delicious.
Yes. Fantastic. Dude, what do you think of Luann and Tom more specifically?
I mean,
do you feel
she wants to feel special?
Right.
Which who doesn't?
Right.
But I just think it's maybe clouded some judgment there.
Yeah, I do too. And I wish.
Which breaks my heart because I don't want people to trade in like the potential for an actual really amazing connection with someone for what they think they want when I don't think it's going to get them there.
I agree. Who is your, if you had to do it, I always do top 5s because I was equated to basketball. First of all, are you all housewives? What are your shows?
I can't do Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, because it's my city. And so, like, when I see them in restaurants I'm eating at,
you see
I'm like, well, not personally, but like what I have on occasion.
Okay, you say when
I
you
have
see
on
them,
occasion, but when I see them in a restaurant where I eat, I'm like, no, it's weird.
Okay.
Like when Bobby and Whitney lived in Atlanta, they lived near one of my good friends' places of business.
Yes.
And so they would sometimes stumble into happy hour afterwards.
Right. And when you say stumble,
cool.
you mean stumble.
It was like, you hoped you saw them. They were like the Wienermobile. You just hoped maybe they'll show up and something crazy will happen. But somehow it doesn't translate to Housewives for me.
I got you.
I'm not comfortable with
you're
this.
missing out with Atlanta. It's Atlanta is the gift that keeps on giving. I love Atlanta.
See, part of
New
it
York
though,
is my favorite,
that's
though.
not my Atlanta
I got
either.
you.
Where
I
I'm
understand.
like, I don't understand your worldview.
No, I got you.
I'm in the same places as you, but we are not in the same Atlanta at all.
Me and what's her name? I'm just totally came in out of my head. Not Dorinda. on Roni. My favorite, she's
Ramona.
We live in the same neighborhood on the Upper East Side.
You're Ramona Coaster adjacent?
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
So I get what you're saying. Like if I saw them, it might take away from it. So if you had to pick your favorite, most influential housewife of all cities, who would it be?
Oh my gosh!
Who's the one that sort of like who has your heart?
Sophie's Choice.
Because to me, Bethany will always be my heart because she's what sucked me into the Housewives to begin with.
Really?
Yes.
See, I've been there from day one.
See, I missed out, and I missed out on Orange County.
See, day one with Orange County, I thought this is going to be an hour of Schadenfreude just for me,
right?
Where I can judge people who have everything and still have nothing.
And then you fell in love.
And then I was like, damn it, I got to watch this every damn week.
And I say this with all seriousness. I put a good episode of Housewives up with the best of the best television out there.
Thank you.
I do. A good fucking episode of whatever city you're into, when there's like some good, bad, maybe. I mean, if you get a table flip, there's not table flipping has become.
Hope, but now it's passé.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, table flipping is passé.
Everybody flips a damn
table. But when you get some emotion, some drama. There's nothing. I'm like, this is why the television was invented in the first place. You're a history person. The television was invented to entertain.
It's exactly what
it's not some highfalutin
envisioned.
Exactly. Am I right or wrong?
It is wildly entertaining.
It wasn't to be confused. Listen, I will watch Mad Men and The Sopranos until the day. But sometimes I'm even with Tony Soprano. God rest his soul. And sometimes I'm like, this is lagging a little bit. I've never felt like any episode of The Housewives is lagging.
Well, I always tell, my husband always teases me. He's like, your garbage is on, and he just knows to putter away. And I'm like, dude,
you're missing out.
I edited articles on telemetry all day long. Like, my ass is going to sit on this couch and watch Housewives.
Yeah, and you should tell him you're missing out. Like, he thinks that you're like sort of, it's not garbage. I tell people, like, they're like, I can't believe you watch it. And I go, I can't believe you don't.
Right?
You're missing. Your life is fucked because you don't watch it.
It is a fascinating, like, here's what happens when you put people in a terrarium.
Absolutely.
So all of those scientific studies could have just bypassed and gotten a production budget and go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm still on Who Is My Heart, and I think it might be Bethany.
Yeah.
I will say, even though I don't watch Atlanta, Candy has my utmost respect. She is so legit.
Yes. I like Candy, too. I met Candy.
She's amazing.
She was good. Are you down with Jersey?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Teresa and Joe going to jail? I feel bad. I mean,
of course, I feel bad for any family that has to go through that.
That's when I think like the show really is great. I can't believe we're going this deep into it.
I love it. Are you kidding? No one else will talk this with me. The one other person at House of Works that used to do it has left, and so we text each other, but it's not the same.
That's funny. But I mean, like when that stuff was going on with Teresa and when she was in prison and now he's in prison.
Yeah.
That's real drama shit.
I mean, there are kids involved whose lives are being impacted.
Melania's upset.
Well, always? I mean, that's like saying the sky is blue. You know what I mean? There's always like a live wire situation going on there.
All right, listen, I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you guys doing this.
Likewise. Thank you for having us.
And I'm going to start listening to your podcast because I do get sucked into the junk, and I think it would be a good balance
we try to find some of history's junk.
Yeah, we have some history junk too. We did a whole thing about the time that the butter industry and the margarine industry were fighting with each other.
Okay.
And they took that all the way to the Supreme Court and tried to make a 14th Amendment argument about butter.
Do you remember what episode number that was?
No.
It's recent,
but
it's called Butter versus Margarine.
All right, I'm going to check it out.
It is Housewives level drama.
All right, I'm going to check it out, and I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate you guys talking to me on this potpourri.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I Am Rapaport podcast.
All right, this is the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast. This is a potpourri podcast extravaganza. I'm trying to get as many people from the IAB UPRONTS, which is really, this is a sort of the sort of the best of the best podcasting personalities around the world. If you've ever heard of the podcast, Stuff You Should Know, I have one of the co-hosts here. I think we're being told to be quiet. We're coming live and direct. It's New York City. Chuck Bryant, one of the hosts of Stuff You Should Know. How you doing, Chuck?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. You just left the stage.
I did.
How'd that go out there?
It was fine.
But so on your podcast, you guys talk and explain stuff you should know.
That's right.
What do you know about live speaking? Were you nervous live speaking?
Well, we go on tour now.
Oh, okay,
and,
right.
I don't get nervous in front of a room of 1,000 people who are there to see me.
Right.
But in front of 75 journalists,
right,
it's a little bit different.
You don't know what you're getting.
No, I was a little nervous.
All right, so how did you guys start doing your podcast? Because in case you haven't heard it, Stuff You Should Know is one of the biggest podcasts out there. You guys have been doing it for a while. You've been in the podcast game for a while. Like, how did it come about?
It was like 8.5 years ago. We worked for a website called How Stuff Works, where we have these articles that just sort of explain how everything you can think of works,
right,
in a way that like anyone can understand,
right.
And our boss at the time said, "Try this podcast thing," and we had to Google what that was, and we started a show. And iTunes featured us early on, and we got up in the top 10 in rankings, and just sort of by divine virtue have kind of stayed there.
So is this now like your main job, like being a podcast host?
Yeah, it's a career.
Wow.
It's crazy. And like I'm a veteran of an industry now, which accidentally.
Right.
Just crazy.
Did you ever imagine, like before you were podcasting, like, and before you were writing articles, like did you ever imagine like do you know shit? Like when people see you, are they like, yo,
yes,
do you know this? Do you know that? Are they challenging you? Because that's what I feel like. I want to like quiz you on shit right now.
Well, the human brain can only hold so much. So it's like one in, one out, like at a club
right.
at this point.
Would you consider yourself generally smart, or have you sort of expanded your mental horizon since you started podcasting?
Well, I mean, I've always been into reading and learning about stuff, and I was always a curious person. But you know, I think it's not about smart. It's just sort of curiosity. I think that's like the key word.
Okay.
You know,
what? How do you guys keep up content? Because at a certain point, will it ever run out? With like, when will you know everything? Like now we know everything, and like, what are you going to do then? Like, are you worried about like shit? Like, try to come up with interesting stuff? Because as you know. Sometimes you're like up for a podcast, and then sometimes you're like, so how do you guys keep up with like content and topics and ideas and all that stuff?
You know, it does feel like the world is getting smaller when we're looking for topics.
Right.
Because we've done like close to 900 shows now.
Damn.
Because we
You've
do
done 900 shows?
Yeah, we do 2 a week. So
holy shit.
It's it's a lot.
900 shows on all different stuff that you should know.
Everything you can think of, man. From like history to politics to pop culture and health and medicine and
wow,
which is kind of the cool thing because there's literally nothing that we can't tackle that would be like out of bounds. You know?
Have you ever done anything on ulcerative colitis?
No.
Okay, see, I suffer from ulcerative colitis. So maybe you do. I'm totally serious, and a lot of people suffer from it.
Yeah.
Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. Maybe you do an episode on that. I could be a guest and tell you.
We could totally do that.
I'm totally serious. I suffer from it, and it's something that I talk about in a lighthearted way, but because it's serious to me.
Yeah, of course.
And when you look up when you guys do your research, because you're going to be like, oh shit, Rapaport has ulcerative colitis. So I'm just throwing that at you because 900 episodes is impressive, man. We just did our 200th episode.
Dude, that's a lot. Way to go.
I know, but that feels like a fucking duffel bag of like life.
Yeah.
The 900, that's no joke, man.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking, I met you like right before this, and I want to like officially state how much your Tribe Called Quest documentary meant to me.
Well, I appreciate that.
That was like my college years.
Yep.
Like it just brought me back, man. It was really good.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that someone like, you know, knew what an important band they were to tackle.
Of course. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. You know, it was a pleasure. It was a challenge.
Did you know those guys beforehand, or
I knew them a little bit. I've known Q-Tip roundabout. You know, we know each other. You know, better now. We went through it. I didn't know Fife at all. The late great Fife dog.
I know, man. So sad.
Yeah, and I got to know him, and Ali I knew a little bit too, and Jerobi I didn't know, but you know. I got to know them. I was really starstruck in the beginning.
I bet.
Because I had to get over that quickly because I didn't want to be biased, but I'm such a tremendous fan of theirs. Like everybody else.
Well, the love showed through. That's not bias. It's love.
Thank you. So it was I was happy to do it. I was happy to do it. And I'm glad that you dug it. So let me ask you, I don't want to keep you long here. You know, just so people know we're backstage here. I don't know, we're at the Time Inc. building.
South.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
What is it? What is it?
What?
This building here?
Yeah, the Time Incorporated building down on the, like Battery Park.
Yeah, we're down here.
We don't hang out here a whole lot, though, right?
No. So what has been like sort of, like I have people that come up to me and be like, I love your podcast. And every single time it happens, I'm surprised. I'm an actor, so I'm used to people acknowledging me for movies or TV or just screaming at me in general.
Yeah.
But for you guys, what's been the biggest sort of like, holy shit, so-and-so knows about our podcast? Like what's been the sort of, or a handful of them. I'm sure there've been a handful of them, like, like the wow moment since being so successful in the podcast game.
I think aside from hearing from people like, like famous people that listen,
like
which is always super cool.
Like you could name drop. Don't please name drop. That's what I'm asking you because and I'm saying because I'm sure you're probably like, holy shit, so and so knows our podcast. Like, so just give me a couple of them.
Well, I mean, we've actually managed to become friends with a few of them. Wyatt Cenac.
Okay.
He's a pal now.
Okay.
And he came through as a listener at first.
That's cool.
And John Hodgman, also of The Daily Show.
Yep.
And he's a buddy now.
That's cool.
And, who else? Well, Ira Glass, the Podfather himself.
Right.
We did an event with him, and he was very, very sweet and complimented us. So,
that's cool.
For being two guys who did not plan to get into this.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's all like, we just toured the UK and Ireland.
Are you serious?
And finished out our tour with 2 sold out shows in London. And that was one of those moments where I was just like, holy shit, what has happened in my life?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So when you do the shows overseas, how many people show up?
Well, London for the 2 shows was about 1,800 people.
Holy fucking shit. That's incredible, man.
It was nuts, man.
So when you guys do your live shows, do you sort of live podcast? Do you recap stuff? Do you Q&A? Like what's sort of the basis of the live shows?
Well, we start off with almost like dual stand-up, like 20 minutes of just sort of goofing off with the crowd.
Right.
And then we'll actually sit down and do a topic live. Okay. And then we do about 20 minutes of Q&A afterward.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah,
man.
It's so much fun, man.
Wow, man, that's crazy. 1,800 people.
Yeah, and I never I never thought I'd be comfortable on stage, but now I really look forward to getting out there.
That's cool. There's an energy, right?
Yeah, you know how, have you done play acting probably, right?
Yeah, I've done play acting, and actually we did a 3-city world tour of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. We hit Milwaukee, Minnesota, and Chicago. It was the 3-city world tour.
Yeah. And we did those cities. Those were great.
Yeah, they were good. So I mean, but the live audiences are cool, and really especially podcasts are so different because there's a relationship that you build with whoever you're fan of.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a direct. They're listening most of the time in their headphones.
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Yeah,
for sure. Like the thing we hear most often is that we feel like you're our buddies.
That's cool, man.
Because our show's really conversational and laid back. It's not, we don't come across as experts or teachers or anything like that.
Right.
So it's very, very fun.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So I've only been podcasting for 2 years. So you've been doing it for a while. What has been the biggest change in the business of podcasting since, you started?
The biggest change is that people are advertising now on shows, and they're, businesses realize that, you guys got 1 million people a week listening to you.
Right.
And that's, some TV shows don't have 1 million people watching.
Shit, that's incredible.
So they're starting to put some money behind it, which, just makes the whole thing kind of legit.
Okay. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you guys haven't tackled in your show that you want to tackle, or that you feel like this topic is or too tantalizing or intimidating? Like, what's been the one thing you guys are do you have on your radar that you want to do next?
We've always wanted to cover Scientology.
Oh.
But that documentary in the book, the Going Clear.
Yes.
They did such a good job at kind of
yes.
I don't even know if we need to bother now.
That's true.
They did such a good job with that.
That's true.
But we might put our spin on it. But we're a little afraid, they'll come after you.
All right, cool. Yo, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate it. This is a Potpourri podcast. I'm speaking to one half of one of the biggest podcasts in the entire world. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, man. Huge fan.
I'm
Very
a
cool
fan
to
too,
meet you.
man. And if you do something on ulcerative colitis, or anything else, I appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too.
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm all right.
But gotta watch.
I just think it would be an interesting topic to take on.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you. All right, the I Am Rapaport podcast is sponsored by Casper Mattresses. Casper Mattresses. Both me and G Monetti have been sleeping on Casper Mattresses for months. Casper is an award-winning sleep startup that launched with outrageously comfortable mattresses sold directly to the consumers. All right? The Casper mattress is singular design, universally comfortable, available in all standard sizes, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Casper mattresses, free 2 to 5 days shipping anywhere in the United States and in Canada. In New York City, you could get your fucking mattress the same day. $50 off the promo code when you punch in Rapaport, R-A-P-A-P-O-R-T. $50 off your first mattress. Okay, go to Casper Mattresses, Casper.com. Check it out.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
All right, the podcast Potpourri extravaganza. It just gets better and better. I had this guy on the podcast, the now infamous Raging Bull episode.
Fucking balls in this guy.
I'm asking you a question.
What?
Did you or did you not?
I'm not gonna answer you. It's a sick question. You're a sick fuck, and I ain't that sick. I'm gonna answer you. You should worry about your weight, you fat fuck, and you wouldn't have problems upstairs and fucking taking on me, you fucking nutball.
The breathing.
I hear you breathing.
I'm here with Jim Breuer, who, like I said, I'm bringing out people at the IABs. No one knows what the fuck the IABs are, but it's the podcast upfronts.
And what are we doing? We're trying to get advertising.
We're trying to get squeeze some people for a couple of bucks.
Why don't we do it the old-fashioned way? Why don't we wait outside?
Right.
And these fucking bananas come outside. Like, come here, what are you doing? Who are you giving money to?
Right. I hit him over the head with a mic.
The fuck I know where your sister lives.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Adam?
Just talking about you. How are you?
I didn't even know you were going to be here. I swear to God.
That is impressive.
Come on.
No, I did not know you were going to be here.
I want to. This is the a podcast potpourri episode, Adam. So I have to get you. I'm getting every single person that's walked through the doors, and I just want to let you know, outside there's a tough fucking crowd. All right, Adam Carolla?
Oh yeah, no, sloppy seconds. Yeah. No, they're industry, right?
No. Well, you done this, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pro at this.
Yeah, but I know what you're dealing with.
Adam Carolla's wearing a soft-ass Iron Rapaport stereo. We got to get you a new one. We got new flavors, new styles.
I have 2 or 3 of them.
No, I want to get you the whole package.
Yeah. Listen, I got Amber Rose on the back.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to make everyone happy. I swear. So here's what happened. Out of you'll see the lay of the land over there.
Yes.
I'm changing into a jacket and a shirt, and I come walking out of the little bathroom green room area, and I'm talking to 2 ladies, and they're looking at my shirt, and they say, "Who is that on your shirt?" And I said, "It's Michael Rapaport." And they go, "Oh, do I know that guy?" And I said, "Yeah, you know that guy. He's an actor. You've seen that guy before." And I said, "Oh." And then I turn and look, and you're on the big screen.
That's funny.
They're literally staring at you, and I turn and looked, and I went, "It's him."
That's the guy on my shirt.
And they went, "Of course it's him, goofball. You wore the shirt." I said, "No, I didn't. I had no idea he was going to be here.
That is funny.
Zero idea. I was facing this way. You were on the big screen behind my head.
That's funny.
They were facing the screen, and I was trying to explain to them who you were."
Shit, I need a new publicist. All right, so are you guys excited? You guys are comedians. You've done live shows. How excited are you to get out there in front of this industry audience? And you already went out there, Jim. What's the climate out there?
Oh, it's cold. But who cares?
Right.
I don't give a shit. All I can do is go up. What are they going to do? Are they going to drop me?
Right.
I'm not Carolla here. I ain't already got that big revenue coming in.
I got you.
I can only go higher. Who gives a shit? I may explode 2 months from now, and all of a sudden I'm something in I can kill in there.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It
doesn't make a difference.
They're going to listen and go, what's his numbers?
Right.
Don't give a shit.
I like this I like the philosophical approach. Like, what are they going to do? Go home and rape my kids?
Right.
What are they going to do?
Exactly.
What are they going to do? Burn my house down?
Exactly.
What are they going to do? Rape me?
Right.
What are they going to do? Yeah, there's a lot of, a meteor hits the planet, what?
Right.
What are they going to do?
They can't do anything.
What are they going to do? Second Holocaust? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I like where your head's at.
So since we're doing podcast potpourri, Jim, tell me about your podcast. I listen to it. I love it. You must love doing it because I know you love metal music. You love music in general. How much fun are you having doing it?
It's a fucking blast. I mean, who gets now? Knowing these guys like Bryant Johnson and stuff like that, the last thing I expect is I make a mistake. I don't think anyone's listening. I still really don't think anyone's listening.
No, they're listening.
Well, I didn't realize that. especially until I think it was March, and I said, "Oh yeah, I saw this guy last night," and he said they kicked him to the curb. Bang!
What in Twitter, social media?
Twitter. I woke up in the morning. It was like England news. It was scary.
Are you serious?
Yes, it was scary. And then I had to get a call from him, and he's like, "Did you say something on social media and something about getting kicked out of the band?" I'm like, "No, I never said that. What are you talking about?" Yeah. The one thing
he called you.
Yeah, I know him.
Right.
So, but yeah, he was a little thrown off that morning. But at the end of the day, answer your question, I'm having a ball. What the? I mean, I like metal. I like Mets.
Right.
I like being married.
Right.
Family. That's all I got.
It's all alliteration.
That's all I got.
No, it's good. It's the 3 M's. Marriage, metal, and Mets.
That's it.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
That's all you
want
need.
to dig deeper, you go Metallica to keep the whole M,
That's all I
keep
got.
the M theme
M&Ms.
going.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
The movie Magic Mike.
Yeah, that's all I
Right.
got.
That's right.
Who's on your hit list? Who's the one person you haven't been able to get on your podcast?
Ozzy. I want Ozzy.
What's his fucking problem? You can't get him on there?
I think I'm going to get him this year.
Okay.
I think I'm going to get him this year.
Would you be like freaked out, nervous, excited? Not at all?
No.
To sit with him?
No, he's a family guy. I want to get into weird shit with him.
Okay.
I want to talk about it. I want to see someone like him, how much history he knows. Like, I want to have a history test with him. That's the stuff I want to do with Ozzy.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I don't give a shit about his records or anything like that. I want to get into weird Ozzy, deep. Those guys, when you sit with them, you sit with like the lead singer, AC/DC, they love talking about history and World War II and the Beatles created everything.
I can tell you right now that from, not Sharon, see, what's the daughter?
Kelly.
Yeah. Kelly told me once when I announced that women don't know anything about World War II because they just don't. Like, I talked to women whose dads were F-18 fighter pilots in Vietnam, and I'm like, what do you do? Something with the Navy, I don't remember. It's like, she said she does know about World War II because her and Ozzy sit around and would watch the History Channel all about World War II because when he was born into a bombed-out city that the Krauts had just bombed a couple of years earlier. So he's very much into that. Although, when I said to Kelly, so you do know something about World War II, and she said everything about World War II, I said, just give me 2 Allied and Axis powers, like 2 good guys, 2 bad guys, like Japan, who were they with? England, who were they with? And she said, oh, that's a trick question. I said, well, wait a minute.
That's
now,
a little tricky. When you asked me that,
I'd say that's
a trick question?
That's right under where you sign your name on the World War II test. That's the first question that comes up. She said, don't give me any trick questions. I said, listen, I want to ask you how many guys died in Dunkirk or something.
Right.
That's a trick question. This is who fought who.
Right.
This is you saying, I'm an expert in the Super Bowl. Who the Patriots played 2 years ago? And you're like, oh, okay, don't give me that crap. Now, if you're going to start with that, then I ain't going there.
Just give me some of the players. Give me some.
Give a couple players' names. Yeah, couldn't do one. I got to get dressed. So.
All right, Adam, I appreciate it.
I got your underpants put on back.
I got to get you like a hand, like a whole package. I got you. I
need everything.
I got you.
Good seeing you, Adam.
Good seeing you, man.
Have a good one.
All right, Jim, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh my God, that was funny.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win. Just get down to 155 pounds, you fat fuck. You stop eating. You got that?
This is fucking 2 minutes. You fall down. What's so hard about it? Here my face. Slap my face. Is that so fucking hard?
You know what I look like? Like a Mama Luke.
He ain't pretty no more.
He ain't pretty no more.
He ain't pretty no more.
Nick from Cheers.
Yes.
Yes, and he was frightening in that.
So good. And with his cigarette.
Tommy, can we do this? You sit down. He says up there. Oh, dude. Greatest movie ever.
The best.
Greatest movie ever.
All right, Jim, I'm going to let you go.
Thank you, brother. Good seeing you.
It's good to see you too, my man. I'll see you later.
Take care, Michael.
All right, what can I say? It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I want to thank all the people that participated. I want to thank all the people who let me interview them impromptu style, guerrilla style podcasting. That was guerrilla style podcasting at its finest. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thanks for the new listeners. I'm sure thousands and thousands and thousands of other new listeners were fans of the guys who we had on the podcast. Join. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. If you want a soft-ass I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast t-shirt, we have a whole bunch, and they're super soft. All right? Go to districtlines.com/I Am Rapaport. We got the full Iverson. We got the All Loaves Matter. We got the Make Podcast Great Again t-shirt. We got them all. We got the Hard Body Karate t-shirt. Go to districtline.com/I Am Rapaport. Thanks for joining us on this special I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast edition.